weekend, I had my first tour of Sledgehammer's third Call of Duty title in World War II on Sony's brand of dual-spec consoles. Now this weekend is Microsoft's turn with one of its triple pack, well, two now because we said goodbye to the launch one disaster. Now here I take a look just how the S model stacks up with its return to boots on the ground multiplayer action. Now if you want to learn about the great tech, art and style on show here, please check out my video from last week. This one will concentrate on the game's res, performance and any changes from its PS4 sparring partner. Now first up we have the same TAA solution being deployed here that appears to be injecting temporal data from previous frames with the current one to complete its final 1600 by 900p resolution, which is then upscaled to the 1080p output. Now like the PS4 and Pro, we again have signs this is being generated from a native geometry buffer of half its final constructed image width. Now on rare shots and areas that have no previous data to work with, we get an 800 by 900 pixel count, but these are rare to spot and are the only signs we are looking at these kinds of numbers. Most of the time in general play we see a 1600 by 900 count, which could mean that they are dynamically shifting, but as before I feel this is a reconstructed image similar to the Killzone, Horizon and Rainbow Six method that really kicked the whole checkerboarding methods off into the mainstream. Now like that title, it could also be doing this from a half height buffer, but I see no signs of that here, and with only the horizontal axis displaying this from all my counts, I believe it's just the width. Now like the PS4, this leaves a convincing final image that for all intents and purposes is very close to its final output target, in this case 900p. Now the game's Temporal Aaa, which is a vital ingredient in this type of rendering, also helps smooth out any obvious jaggies or shimmer that is expected of this resolution, with the cost coming from a slightly softer image than games without this, but it is in my opinion more than worth this slight cost. Sometimes adding in a sharpness filter within the post effects pass can enhance this, and we may be seeing a slight touch of that here, just like Battlefield 1 also uses, and this is a good basis for comparison, as not only do we see a similar IQ here to DICE's War Epic, not quite as good mind, but we also have a material system that is much closer to their quality. Sledgehammer set the bar in COD titles this gen with Advanced Warfare, as they crafted an impressive PBR material system that leapt over the Ghost titles that started the generation, which was our first look at a next-gen COD game. The team have enhanced that here from this multiplayer portion of the title, and as always, target performance first. I do expect the single player to really excel here once more when we get a look at it, with possibly also a boost to the rendering resolution, thus IQ alongside that. Now due to the lower native resolution than the PS4, it does make the image suffer ever so slightly more than that release, due to the abundance of alpha effects in the title, with missed spots on both versions showing up. It's just more noticeable here on the X1 release, such as thin lines, shutters and smoke. They're all the easy ones to spot in play. Now aside this, we have an identical looking title to the PS4 and the Pro, with the same res splitting them all up, but performance metrics are also slightly different. As has become the norm with Xbox One games now, we see an adaptive or soft VSync deployed on Microsoft's console versus the full VSync we see on the PlayStation consoles. Now again, just as we saw with Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare last year, this means that when the frame rendering buzzer just exceeds the 16.67 milliseconds window it has, the buffer is allowed to flip, mixing the new frame at the bottom with part of the old frame at the top, which causes a tear as part of the image is held over another refresh cycle of your TV or monitor. Now due to the limit on how far this is allowed to skip, it means that we never see anything worse than approximately 18 to 20 millisecond frames here, and these are the ones that tear. Now once the frame is beyond 2 to 3 milliseconds, it will simply hold the VSync until the next cycle, and thus we drop a complete frame, giving us the rare 33 millisecond times we see here and on our previous test last weekend. Now this is the best compromise, as most will struggle to see the tears as they happen infrequently during play, and as they are the only top sections, many will never notice them. It also helps keep response high, which again, thanks to my own input latency test methods I can test here, that's on my Sony W7 TV, we see the exact same low input times of circa 40 to 42 milliseconds from the engine, and this holds up the hallmark of the franchise well, if the same old connection issues and server poll rates can creep in from time to time. It must also be said that I do notice more obvious signs of shadow aliasing and edges, but again, due to the rendering resolution being lower, they're probably all connected to this lower resolution output metric. So onto the performance metrics, which present a game that is as stable as the PlayStation version, maybe even slightly higher thanks to its dynamic VSync path, which also delivers a 95th percentile frame time of 16.67 milliseconds, just like the Pro. The 99% one is 33.3%, just like the PS4. The same fast lobby searches, decent connection levels to the service being deployed here give both platforms the same solid and consistent performance levels across the board, and up with the best COD levels we have seen across the series. You can view a few more minutes of footage here to confirm the quality of my frame tests and also my gameplay, and also the game's superb sound design, which delivers excellent mixing on directional audio, music, explosions. Maybe the screaming can become a little OTT at times, but the rest of the audio package is of a high caliber. To benefit the most and help you locate enemies in the game, you could also use a virtual surround sound headset, such as my recent review of the Marauder, which helps not only the immersion but also the location of enemies in the game. You can check out my review below and on screen. For FPS shooters, they benefit the most from its use. And as always, this was a short and quick one, but I wanted to give you the metrics and performance data of this title. If you like this or anything else that I've put together, then please feel free to subscribe and support me by supporting the channel below with a like, leave all your comments, also read more on the website, and you can follow me on Twitter to also give your thoughts and feedback directly. If you can afford it, you can also help support me by using my Patreon link and give me any pounds or dollars you can afford to help support the work and improve the quality and material that I can put together. You guys and girls take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.
We lost B. Capturing Baker. Capturing Baker. Bomb incoming. Get to cover. Recon aircraft awaiting orders. They're capturing Baker. Recon aloft. We have eyes in the sky. They're capturing Baker. Liaison bombing mission ready. Enemy contact at Able. Baker's overrun. Got the bastard! Artillery ready for orders. Awaiting coordinates. Closing with Baker. Capturing Able! Recon flight concluded. We lost A. Firing primary battery. Target position confirmed. Recon searching for targets.